So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our conjunction series of the week. And this week we're going to be covering our conjunction of Sun and Venus in the fifth house. As in what happens when Sun and Venus are in the fifth house of your birth chart. And as always, if you do not know if you have this particular conjunction, what sign it's in, what nakshatra it's in, all the astrological details, for that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, consultations, and link to my academy, Maga Vedic Astrology Academy, where I'm currently teaching planets and ascendant in nakshatra, along with even remedies for those nakshatras. So, Sun and Venus in your fifth house. So when they're in your fifth house, first of all, what is the fifth house? Fifth house represents intelligence, education, children, speculative gains, politics, learning, your past life deeds. Fifth house represents mantras, like any kind of a sonnet or seance. Seance is not a bad word. It's just when you're trying to get a certain type of energy to connect with you. Now, some people can do that in a malevolent way. Most people do that in a benefic way. Okay, that's fifth house, along with 100 different things. Fifth house. Fifth house also represents your ancestors. Why? Because it is the bhavat bhavam of the ninth house. So it's ninth from the ninth. It represents your ancestors, because your children most likely are your ancestors from past lives. So here, now one thing you will notice, and here's a little bit of kind of like a secret trick. Okay? When Sun and Venus are conjunct in any house, and their time period runs, wherever in your horoscope the sign of Leo becomes active. So even let's say if the Sun and Venus are sitting in the sign of, let's say Taurus, that means the eighth house will become active when this particular conjunction becomes active through dasha. And there are other ages as well without the dasha where you can see where it will become active. But fifth house is also about creativity, stage performance. Okay, so here you have Venus Shukra, which represents divinity, devotion, tantra, underworld, romance, love. And you have Sun the king, Sun the soul, Sun the authority, and Sun being a bright floodlight sitting next to Venus, brightening the quality of Venus in the house of creativity. So here, a person naturally is a performing artist, a creative, artistic individual. And especially after the age of 41, you will see this person suddenly finds interest in politics or in being a diplomat towards a certain group of people. Like a person can become a diplomat for certain spiritual organization, certain political organization. Now, here in the fifth house, your firstborn child, after the birth of your firstborn child, fame comes in, recognition comes into a person's life. And especially with the birth of the firstborn child, you are put into an authoritative position. And one thing also you will notice, when a boy comes in, your intelligence and your power in the world rises. When the girl comes in, wealth and luxury rises. Those rise first, then the other one comes in. And you will also notice when this conjunction is in the fifth house, there will be some sort of a cut mark or a bruise on the stomach. Either stomach or the sign which is in your fifth house, the body part represented by that sign will happen, especially if, let's say, even if you're a mother and you give birth to a child. With this conjunction, you will see somehow later at any point after that birth, you will develop some kind of a mark. Like, what is this mark? And that mark becomes a sign of a prosperity to come in, or to food to come in. Because remember, fifth house is esophagus, stomach. When we feed ourselves, we feel alive. We feel like happy. I just had food. I just had the greatest meal ever. So this is why when a child is born, the birthmark will come in saying that, okay, you're about to be fed. And there are different modes of feeding. There are modes of feeding related to feeding being fulfilled through fame, fulfilled through power, fulfilled through education, fulfilled through speculations, fulfilled through money. So that's not what happens. Now, one thing you will notice also is that with this conjunction, your heart will be broken at one point in life. Meaning in romance, you will be burned. Sure, you got married, you found the right person, you're living happily, but before that, you would have had your heart broken. Most likely at the age of either 17 or 23rd year. But this particular conjunction, I usually see a person just wanting to attain a creative education, creative intelligence. Even if they get an MBA, most likely I find them getting an MBA either in marketing, sometimes sociology, but they love to just, take some project and present it creatively. That's the main thing. But of course, this is not the determinant of a person's career. And with this conjunction, you also notice is that after marriage, your investments rise. So when you get married, suddenly you get interested in investments, and those investments actually give you fruitful results. And I'm talking about regardless of the sign. Okay. Actually, Venus is debilitated, may actually give you windfall of wealth. So anyway, guys, this was my analysis of Sun, Venus in the 5th house of your birth chart. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe below so you don't miss this type of video. And if you want to know where this particular placement is, along with all your astrological details, check out the links here in the shop section. Or if you want to learn about nakshatras, which are the CPU, the motor of astrology, check out the links here in the bottom under the shop section for my academy. Otherwise, we'll see you Wednesday. Bye-bye.